I mean, they're basically creating another Ethereum ecosystem. They can't actually regulate any technology. Like, the internet isn't even regulated, but the people that build on top of it are. My first Bitcoin, I met a guy in a mall, and I gave him cash. And I thought the only thing that carried us through those moments was the community. We've built a really strong culture in our community. The my chain is better than your chain thing. That's millions of dollars that these companies spend, and they still get it wrong constantly.
Welcome to Amigos PC. If you were looking for a podcast with high standards and an appreciation for the finer things in life, like water polo, ballet, equestrian riding, cricket, and trips to the countryside, you're in the wrong place. If you're looking for a podcast that celebrates drinking, random thoughts, wacky conspiracies, memes, crypto, cinema, and a lot of other things that don't really make any sense, then you're in the right place. This is Amigos PC, and here are your hosts, Scott and Mark.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! You're hearing this for a reason. You haven't subscribed to the Amigos membership on Super Cash yet. For as little as $5, you can get access to our feed with no ads, and exclusive membership discounts and merch.
Jump up to our $30 tier and get everything plus direct access to us via our Discord channel, live Amigo AMAs, quarterly giveaways, and crypto merch. For $1 a day or less, you can support an Amigo out.
And Amigos, back at it again. Today we have a special guest, Nick Sapanaro. He is the CEO of the Divi Project, Divi Wallet. He's an entrepreneur, crypto enthusiast, keynote speaker who regularly features on media talking about crypto-related issues, a dedicated proponent of funding principles of crypto movement as set out by its originator, Satoshi Nakamoto. He is working towards the delivery of new paradigm for financial services. One that is truly decentralized, accessible to all, and works for everyone. Nick, thank you for coming on the show. If you could, I know I kind of went into a little bit of your background there. Give us some more insight on you.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks, Mark and Scott, for having me on tonight. I'm really excited that we were able to make it work. Yeah, so like you said, my name's Nick Sapanaro. I got into crypto in 2013. I was building computers for a living, and I had built some miners. That was kind of my first introduction to what cryptocurrency is. Didn't really get super into it back then. It wasn't until about 2015 when I started to invest in Ethereum that I really garnered like a real interest in the space. I'm a developer by trade, so having a development platform like Ethereum was really attractive. And then it wasn't until 2017, I was freelancing, and I was actually a DJ at the time, just trying to make ends meet with freelance web development work, that a buddy reached out to me and he said, hey, do you want to work on a cryptocurrency? I know you've been investing in the space and stuff. And I said, of course, this sounds cool. So I just built the website, the original website. I saw their white paper, saw some of the interesting things that they were doing, and I contributed to that white paper and gave them some of my ideas. And eventually they said, hey, do you want to co-found this project? And that's the Divi Project, which, as you mentioned, is a cryptocurrency and blockchain project that is aimed at basically creating a usable, accessible ecosystem of finance, decentralized finance specifically. And yeah, we've been building it since 2017.
Oh, nice. So what type of I hate to call it cryptocurrency, because this is more of a project, and all cryptocurrency really is a project if you think about the core roots of it. Is it like proof of work, proof of stake? Like, can you give me some idea of how its core function works?
Absolutely. So we developed a proof of stake blockchain that's secured by what are called masternodes, which were very popular back in the 2017, 2018 era of ICOs and fun stuff like that. We developed what is still considered probably the easiest way to set up a Masternode, called MOCCI, or Masternode One-Click Cloud Installer. And this allows people to start earning cryptocurrency with the click of a button, or now on your phone, the swipe of your finger. And we do the same thing with staking, where most newer protocols and blockchains that come out are what is called delegated proof of stake, where you basically have 21 or so node operators that have the infrastructure to add blocks to the chain, and then all of the people in the ecosystem basically can delegate or contribute their stake to those nodes. We did not develop a delegated proof of stake system. We felt that was not adherent to the concept of decentralization enough. So we developed what are called staking vaults, which allows you to, even from a cell phone, deploy a staking node that's actually adding blocks to the chain without sacrificing your keys or delegating your coins anywhere. You keep them fully in your wallet. And that's kind of been our novel solution that we've been rolling out over the past year.
Oh, nice. Oh. You can encrypt your wallet, everything. So, I mean, proof of stake, the topic, the debate is out, right? Trying to figure out, especially with Ethereum and its emerge of coming to proof of stake at some point in the next maybe 6 months, maybe 5 years, who knows? What made you guys decide that proof of stake was the way to go versus proof of work? And would you be open to a proof of work scheme at some point in the project?
So we decided on proof of stake primarily because of its accessibility level. With proof of work, you need pretty difficult to acquire hardware, especially now with Bitcoin, needing the Antminers, the ASIC rigs. We found that was very prohibitive. We wanted to give basically anyone with a few dollars a chance to contribute to the network. Also, especially back then, we weren't mining on renewable energy grids yet back in 2017, at least a lot less. So at the time it was a move toward a more sustainable blockchain. Of course, now mining has primarily moved to those sustainable resources, but we still find that the proof of stake system is highly efficient and rewarding for people that still don't have that capability to set up, hardware infrastructure and things like that.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I think that's mainly like the biggest hurdle right now, especially with cryptocurrency and or any new projects that come into play. The little guy can't get involved at this point. It almost seems like you have to start investing the thousands of dollars, even to just build a normal 6 gig or 6 card rig for GPU mining. Or if you're trying to scale a farm, similar to like what me and Scott and one of our business partners are doing, we're investing thousands of dollars just to get, a farm up and running. So giving the opportunity to the little guy, with a couple dollars is a great move, I think. Even though, like, my perspective of like the proof of stake versus proof of work, like, obviously we're miners and we love proof of work just because we know that we can take tangible items and actually make a decent amount of cryptocurrencies or some type of crypto. Yeah, but then proof of stake, I also dabble in that quite a bit in different avenues, and I feel like some of the APRs that are given or like the rewards that are given in proof of stake kind of helps, like you were saying, break the entry point and getting the little guy involved so they can help with some of these blockchains.
Yeah, it can definitely be attractive, especially nowadays with all the POS stuff and with DeFi. You see these super high APRs, but it's still important, I think. You and I, of course, are interested in this stuff, we're investing in it. But for somebody that is maybe just learning about proof of stake and seeing these high APYs, it's important to really study the tokenomics behind that APY, because it might be awesome to earn 10,000% APY, but that's completely unsustainable, right? You're basically emitting so many coins that you're hyperinflating, or the APY has to drop significantly to support an influx of users. So those kinds of things, of course, are the challenges that proof of stake systems face, whereas proof of work faces the challenge of heat control and obviously management of hardware and things like that.
Or also do some research on the site that you're using, because we've been burned early on in our run of checking out things where you're using these sites that are outside of the US, right, to do these great numbers. And once, they either rug pull you or they...
You bring that up, and I actually made mention before we got
you can't get back in there
to say that I was going to do this disclosure, but I didn't. But just so everybody's aware, because this does go on YouTube, none of us are financial advisors.
We're not advisors.
Nick is a CEO, so I would lean more towards him advising on things. But again, none of us are financial advisors. Do your own research, all that fun stuff. Thank you, YouTube. But Scott, he talks about the rug pulls. We got burned early on. But I think that's one of the things, right? You got to know your risk in what you're getting involved. Now, you had talked about a lot of what was it you said, the activity. Basically, my question is, so Ethereum now is going to be going proof of stake pretty soon. There is going to be people that are looking to offload away. Obviously, the development on Ethereum is not really going away, but I don't think that what they're trying to do is going to solve the core problem that Ethereum has, which is their fees and gas and all that fun stuff. Maybe they'll solve it one day, but I don't think it's going to happen immediately with this merge. What are your guys's, if you can even go into this, what is your guys's plan, or just maybe... Yeah, let's use vision as to when this really starts to take place and people are still frustrated, onloading that traffic to your guys' blockchain based on just what I'm looking at and just some of like your white paper and the project itself. It seems like you guys can already handle a decent amount of volume, but Ethereum is another beast. Like they're doing a lot more volume than just even more than Bitcoin. I at this point, I assume, with just how the blockchain's built.
Yeah, the challenge of scalability is obviously a huge hot topic, and a topic that people don't love discussing, but we have to if we want to move this technology forward. Yeah, I mean, Ethereum is suffering from that. And, it gets to the point where it's like, oh, what's minting right now? Like, I'll just wait till later to send my, my bill payments or whatever. You know how that goes. Now, the layer 2 solutions are remarkable, and I think that we're getting closer, with the ZK roll-ups and optimistic roll-ups and stuff like that. However, there's always some sacrifice, whether it's friction for the user, whether it's centralization of block production. There's always some trade-off, regardless of how you aim towards scaling. I mean, if you look at Solana, right, it has crazy high throughput theoretically, but under real load, it tends to basically DDoS itself. And, it has its own levels of centralization. And I have nothing against Solana or Ethereum, or really anything in the space. These are all just case studies of how we get to, a level where we can be mass adopted. We built Divi from the beginning to be microtransaction ready, to an extent scalable. I won't say it's scalable because I really don't think any blockchain truly is scalable right now. But we did take some different approaches toward building out the blockchain, like faster block time, larger blocks, things like that, which of course comes with their own sets of caveats. In the future, though, I think that the layer 1 solutions will essentially become settlement layers for the side chains and the layer 2s that exist. I think that's honestly how blockchain scales. I would love to see fully decentralized block production with the throughput of Visa. But until we have like quantum mechanics or something, I just don't understand how it's done. And maybe someone smarter, and I'm sure there are plenty of people working on this that are way smarter than me, will figure that out. But for right now, my best solution, things that I've researched, are going to be those side chains. Or as Cosmos does it, having interconnected blockchains and things like that. That again just settle to the main chain.
Yeah. I mean, Cosmos, that's Crypto.com's coin. That I think is a whole new beast, and I don't think really people know, I think a lot of people know now, especially after the Super Bowl and Staples and all that fun stuff, but I don't think that people really understand the projection that Crypto.com is really taking cryptocurrency in its entirety. Like, their chain alone, it accommodates just so much.
Yeah, I mean the Kronos chain is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That they just launched. Yeah, it's amazing. I've played around with it quite a bit on VVS Finance and stuff like that, and it definitely is pretty remarkable. I mean, they're basically creating another Ethereum ecosystem, but on their own chain. and they have like CRC20 and CRC721 and stuff like that. Crypto.com is an interesting project because they're basically consuming. They're like basically going to be, you know, the Google or Facebook or whatever of one of them, you know, of crypto, which is interesting, being that we've started this very grassroots community, you know, as cryptocurrency entrepreneurs, and it's still kind of trending toward what already exists in Web 2. Again, not necessarily giving my opinion there, but that is what's happening, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, Crypto.com also has things like Particle B Accelerator, which do promote the generation of new projects and stuff. It's not like they're just trying to do hostile takeovers of everything. I think they really are trying to support the ecosystem at large, but they're taking a traditional approach to it, right?
So let me ask you this, in trying to get your opinion on something, not specifically with Crypto.com, but so you have these exchanges that are in reality very centralized. Your project is about decentralization, and how do you feel like your project versus big exchanges like this that are in a centralized atmosphere, basically, how do you think that these two projects, your own, them, are going to meld and help the goals of crypto be still decentralized? Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We want a decentralized system. We do not want things centralized. The whole point of crypto is to be decentralized.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, in my mind, if we turn around and create an ecosystem that is mirroring what already exists, then we haven't really made any progress. It might be more efficient technologically, but you're really just taking the oppressed and making them the oppressors, right? Mm-hmm. Which is not the outcome that we desire. That said, there will
very well said. That is very well said.
That was perfectly said.
I think about this stuff quite a bit, obviously. I'm up late at night.
Yeah. Well, you're a CEO. You're up late at night.
So I mean, that said, there will be custodial services. Let's be real. You know, the big trust companies and stuff like that, they're not going to put their stuff in a hot wallet or try to manage it themselves. They want to have a custodian that is equipped for those types of things. I get that. From a personal level, though, from like the perspective of self-sovereign ownership of your funds and eliminating or mitigating the risk of central point of failure risk and things like that, people will learn, right? We, for a long time, have given up things for convenience. We gave up privacy entirely for convenience with social media. And I think people's eyes are, to an extent, open to that.
Yep.
And now it's just about informing them, like, what you're using is sacrificing your ownership for convenience, right? And that's why we've developed Divi to be a user experience focused project. So you'll see, like, in our wallet that it's very familiarized and it feels friendly to the even newbie user, because we don't think that you have to sacrifice user experience for decentralization. They can work hand in hand. So I think that these things will exist in parallel for a long time. And ultimately, the centralized exchanges will undergo a ton of regulation and have to basically operate like banks, because they basically are. And that will drive people to decentralized products, ultimately. But both will exist, like I said.
So, as a decentralized project that you're building, will you want to interact with these centralized exchanges? And like you said, they're probably going to be under more scrutiny, more regulation, things like that. Do you think that decentralization may end up having that same effect because you would be interacting with?
Yeah, or what are your fears with, like, regulation on your guys' side of things? Because, you know, that's the big hot button, I would think, for most people, or definitely new people even trying to jump in. They're like, oh, that's just gonna, you know, the government's gonna take it away, or, you know what I mean? That's got to be the hot button for most new people that are worried about the.
It's true. It's definitely a concern, or something that's at least top of mind for most people. Here's the thing. They can't actually regulate any technology. Like, the internet isn't even regulated, but the people that build on top of it are, right? The companies that build around these things. Electric vehicles aren't regulated, but Tesla is. So ultimately, the technologies will thrive regardless of, you know, inbound and pending regulations, whatever is happening locally or worldwide. what will ultimately happen is the government will figure it out. The U.S. government, I'm just using because that's where we all live. And they are beginning to at least open their eyes to what this technology is. They've acknowledged that it's not going away. You know, they can't take it away, just like they can't really take away our guns or anything like that. So what will happen is they'll have to interact with us, you know, and work with it. Exactly. I do not believe that they'll just
how to get
shut
their piece
down,
of the pie, right?
You know, or make it illegal somehow. I don't even know how you would do that. How do you enforce an illegal crypto?
I like how.
Well, yeah,
Did you see what Canada just did?
This goes back to the issue of centralization.
Yeah, their whole
right?
emergency action.
Because right now there are Bitcoin nodes running in literal space.
Yeah.
In satellites, right? So even if they shut all the internet down in America, which they would never do, there's still nodes operating in space and in Spain and in everywhere else on Earth, right? That is the beauty of true decentralization. So yeah, maybe Coinbase gets regulated or maybe FTX gets regulated or whatever. But I can still run a Bitcoin node and send money peer to peer. And that's what we have to teach people. It's like, okay, you want to use Coinbase as your on-ramp. That's awesome. Coinbase is extremely important in this space. Get your money off that as soon as you can. Put it in cold storage, put it in a self-custody wallet.
Yes,
and take control, right? That's the key.
Yeah, I love that because we always, when we talk to people or like do live streams on YouTube and the topic of like Crypto.com or Coinbase come up, and we're like, yeah, they're great platforms, and we definitely use Crypto.com regularly, especially with some of our mining and liquidating and things like that. But
that one
we've never really been like, okay, you know, we use this religiously. Like you can't. One, I am not a fan of Coinbase. I've never been a fan really of Coinbase, but at one point it was really the only option. But it is very user friendly and is a very good learning tool. So I always still recommend it to people, especially people that are like very brand new. I'm all like, do you like Facebook? Yes. Okay, well then Coinbase would probably be your best option because of just its appeal when you first get into it and its ease of use.
Yes. And that's why, you know, we realize that the on-ramp is always the heaviest point of friction for the user, right? Getting your first dollars into crypto. Oh, God. Out of fiat. I mean, I'll tell you
out of fiat.
A funny story. When I first bought my first Bitcoin, I met a guy in a mall, and I gave him cash. And I thought... It wasn't a crazy amount.
That's awesome. How much did you buy? Was it something worth? Did you buy pizzas or
like
what?
Maybe $2,000 worth of Bitcoin or something. But this was back in 2014, 2015, something. So it was decent, right? And I immediately swapped it for Ethereum. Ethereum was like super cheap at the time, 80 cents or less than $1. And the guy, I thought he was going to be like either rob me or, you know, something. Yeah, right. No.
Yeah.
It's funny. He was just a normal
Was
kid.
he in a trench coat?
He was younger than me. And he actually unfortunately ended up doing a peer-to-peer transaction with a Fed, and he met his unfortunate end there. But at any rate, I didn't have Coinbase. Now he catch me if you can.
Now he's working for them. Dang it! Yeah, now he's working for them.
But I didn't have like this easy on ramp. Now we do have these easy on ramps. You know, at least at Divi, through our software development firm, we've taken more of a hybrid approach, so we can leverage the technologies of these regulated entities without becoming one. Because we're just maintaining, basically, effectively, we're software developers. That's it. We're just giving people tools that they can use. Basically, putting a nice, fancy skin on an API that exists that we make a business relationship with, you know, a trust company or an exchange or whatever, in order to do these things. This gives people still full self-sovereign ownership. The funds are never held by anyone but that individual. No one knows the key except the individual that owns the wallet. But they can fiat on-ramp and off-ramp and do things like swapping their coins and things like that in the wallet. And that's all coming this month, or not this month, this quarter. My community watches this thing. Keep me alive, but
nice.
Wait, he said it's now. He said it's now. When?
Yeah, he said now. Buy now. So Nick, let's dig a little deeper into you. what made you get into, like, were you always into computers? What made you get into programming? What made you get into Bitcoin or cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I mean, I was an only child.
What made
I am
you
an only
jump
child.
into this world?
So I had a lot of time on my hands. There's still time.
There's still
I guess
time.
that may be true. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I was always
Could be,
playing with
right?
computers. I was like really into hardware as a kid. So I'd like to take things apart, DVD players or VCR players at the time, and put them back together and things like that. That's why I got into computers later. But I always, would play around with websites and coding and things like that too. But it really wasn't until, like I said, I did interact with mining in 2013 when I was building computers. But it wasn't until my buddy introduced me to Ethereum. He actually met Joe Lubin in New York, and he was going up there meeting with him like frequently. He's like, dude, you really have to get into this.
Oh, wow.
This thing called Ethereum. And it was so confusing at first, but that's when I met the guy in the mall and I jumped into it. Yeah. But it really was the potential that Ethereum had at the time, especially, to create the world that I saw from Satoshi's white paper, right? Truly like peer-to-peer system that could disrupt finance and basically everything. It was beyond finance with Ethereum, right? It was the entire web. To me, it was like we're finally going to be able to build the web as it was meant to be built, and we're finally starting to get there, right, with Web3. So. Yeah. That's what's driven me to keep doing this every day for the past 5 years.
I know that Web3 is like the hot topic right now. Like everybody is, Web3. There's my version of Web2, my version of Web3. Taking little GIFs and memes. When you're a CEO of a company that's building blockchain, you're developing things using APIs and such. What are the risks that you're looking for with Web3 on the horizon? Web3 could be the next NFT's already booming, but it could be. I don't honestly understand Web3 in its entirety, but it's obviously the new hot thing. So, what risks are you looking for? To okay, do we get into this? Do we not? How are you leveraging that, especially in a leadership role?
Absolutely, super interested in Web3. We're doing a couple of big DeFi plays. We've always taken sort of like a
It's coming this month, right? You said?
Just joking.
Keep your eyes out. I'll just say.
Yeah, there you go.
Just joking.
No, I mean DeFi is really interesting
There we
because
go.
again,
I like
it expands upon and pushes forward the concept of disrupting the banks and finance and becoming your own banker and becoming your own lender and your own hedge fund and all those things. So that's really interesting, and we'll continue to engage with those things. We kind of take like a pragmatic approach to these things, so we're not always first to market with our products, but we try to be like one of the more effectively user experience driven ones. So we've come up with some really cool stuff for the DeFi initiative. But outside of that, the risks that we run with Web3 are basically the same that we run with the rest of cryptocurrency, which is just turning around and giving it back to the same people who already run everything. It's an opportunity for us to truly decentralize. Let me make it less abstract, more tangible. You're a coffee bean farmer in Costa Rica. Right now, if I buy a roast at Starbucks, the only person really getting paid is Starbucks and the distributor that provides them with the beans. The guy who's farming those beans is making a pittance, right? It's a travesty. But that's because the supply chain has so many inefficiencies in between the farmer and my cup of coffee. So things like blockchain, things like Web3 allow us to eliminate a bunch of those middlemen and actually give access to the consumer to see transparently what's happening along that supply chain. So if I'm drinking my cup of Sumatran roast or whatever, I can actually go, let's say, on an app or a Web3 app that shows me, hey, this is the farmer. Look at his face. Look, this is his farm. Like, this bean came from this guy. Do you want to send him some crypto? Yes, because my cup of coffee doesn't cost $5 anymore. It costs $1.50 because the 8 people that used to be involved with this process are obviated by this technology, right? So
you explain it that way,
awesome.
though, right? Sorry for
No, go
interrupting,
ahead.
but you explain it that way. I feel like there's going to be, and there already is, obviously, resistance to something like this. You know, hey, we brought up regulation already. Yeah, no, you're taking my
You're
job.
taking jobs. You took the drivers. You
Well,
took
they're still involved.
still there.
Right?
tracking of the
Yeah.
beans.
but it's the administrative costs that really get
I'm thinking,
eliminated,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
all the auditing and the accounting and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Those are the better
That's
people.
millions of dollars that
We
these
need those
companies
people.
spend, and they still get it wrong constantly. And it also allows them to hide things and do unethical things if they're private. So it's like,
True.
to me, that's like step one. NFTs and stuff is fun and cool, but it's not really substantive in my mind enough.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
Like NFTs, because I'm still every week for me. It's still
yeah, it's like
getting
one step
closer to
forward,
maybe
two
liking
steps
it,
back,
but
right?
probably not. I'll be real. Yeah.
Look, man, it's absurd, right? It is. But at the same time, it's how most things are born. You know, we start with games and things that are easy to program
Yeah.
and understand, because the developers have to wrap their heads around all of these things before it can become anything substantive. So right now it's just super nascent and it's fun. I own a couple NFTs. I just think it's crazy, but yeah. I mean, everybody probably at this point has one or
Us
two.
too.
But is it the way that it will always
Yeah.
exist? Not in my opinion. I think there's probably use cases for like true creators, like musicians and some artists and things like that. But you know, collections of 10,000 frogs or whatever. I don't know.
I agree.
If that's how it ends up. Oh, nice.
That's what we have. We have a couple frogs. So
Yeah,
so we have to sell those.
The no
for the
fun
sellers.
code.
Not
There you
financial
go.
advice. Not financial.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Well, I know that
Yeah,
Ravencoin, like there
give
are
it to your
some
toes. You heard it
developers that
first.
are attaching Ravencoin and their asset allocation to real property, like real estate. And I know that that's happening like in Minneapolis and other places around the world. Do you see your project doing something similar like that at all, where you can create some type of token or your token is used to asset allocate, I guess you would say?
Yeah, we've seen already some usage of Divi in the real world. You know, Divi right now, the way that it's equipped is primarily as a transactional coin, like many others. As I said in the beginning, it's a little bit maybe more well equipped than some other things, but it doesn't really matter. You're basically, when you're trading value, you're just speaking a language, right? So some people like to speak the Divi language. And yeah, I mean, we have some villages in Venezuela that have a circular economy based around Divi and things like that. Moving forward, though, you know, a big part of our forward-looking roadmap and the vision that we have for the future is interoperability. So getting onto what we already have an ETH bridge finished that'll be deployed soon. We'll be bridging to Crypto.com's chain, BSC, etc., because we want to, again, translate that value to as many people as possible so that they can use Divi in whichever way they see fit. Of course, bolstered by this layer 1 blockchain that's been running for 5 years without a hitch, 4 years, whatever, how long it's been. The days run together. You know,
Tell me about it.
you don't sleep.
You don't
So
sleep.
yes,
That's
to answer your
ECM.
question
That
simply,
works.
yes, we
Yeah.
will be doing more stuff that's a little bit more outside the transactional realm, ultimately culminating in a major upgrade of the blockchain. What that looks like yet, I'm not 100% sure, so maybe I'll come back and talk more about that when we have it more fleshed out.
Nice. Now, you did bring up
Oh, yeah.
exchange in it, and that actually made me think of a question. It being a decentralized project, right? A lot of decentralized projects are not really listed on the major exchanges. And as we talked earlier, you know, these exchanges are very centralized, but you're building bridges to these ecosystems. Are you opposed to being listed on their exchanges to interact with them?
No, not at all. You know, the philosophy is we call it Divi everywhere, right? We want as much exposure as
Yes,
possible,
I like
just
that.
like any. You're fighting for eyes.
Oh, I gotta make those shirts. Did you make those shirts yet?
I do have a shirt that
That's
I
a
call
shirt
Divi
right
everywhere
there.
because it has
You
Divi
got it.
logos all over it.
Yeah,
Just has to say, yeah, it's a good
that's
shirt.
that's good
I'll
too.
have to
But
spin
just,
that
you
one
just
up.
have to say Divi everywhere. There you go.
No, but I mean, of course.
Yep,
We have.
yep.
We have. Hey, man, I'm
Sorry,
all about
I'm head
it.
of marketing
It's
on
all-
our team. Not
I love
really, but I'm not.
I'll kick you some commissions for any shirts we sell. That's your
Yeah.
idea.
Oh,
Nice.
then ready.
No, but I mean, we're on KuCoin, we're on Ascendex and some others. I mean, we're always after other centralized exchange listings, primarily because they have huge user bases. You know, it's more eyes on your project. It's another venue for people to trade. Because we find that a lot of people, they don't want to create a new account. Like, why aren't you on Coinbase, or why aren't you on whatever exchange that I already use? I don't want to go through the process again, especially now with KYC
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. No.
The decentralized exchanges, however, have the same problem. You have a lot of people, which I find this interesting, that won't use decentralized exchanges. They're like, oh no, let me know when you have a contract address I can just trade on Uniswap or whatever, which I find really interesting. So there's like this divergence really in the space where you have these diehards like myself, the fundamentalists, that still just adhere to those initial fundamentals and the tenets that, you know, we've built everything upon. And then you have this other realm, probably people that are coming in new. Yeah, they
want it easy.
Right.
It's because you're getting the bank people. That's why.
Exactly.
What's happening is more bank
again,
people are coming over.
They're
and they
willing
want
to
it easier.
sacrifice their
That's what's
ownership
happening.
for convenience because they don't see that there's a decentralized option, or they just don't care in general. So, like, in my opinion, the way that we need to build things,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't matter if they care about decentralization or not. Just build it decentralized and make it easy to use, and then everyone wins, right?
Bingo.
As a
Yes.
developer
That's what's needed.
and a company that is building their blockchain and things like that, how do you answer to the users, right, that are, you know, when are you getting on, you know, exchange because of my convenience, right? Basically like the safe mooners, right? They I'm not trying to call any particular group out, but that is literally that's literally every
We're
safe
waiting.
moon
We're waiting.
user.
That's why he called him out.
It's,
That's why he called him out.
when
We're waiting.
moon and when do you get on crypto.com, or when do you get on, like, how do you answer to those, like in giving them just some type of response, right? But then also, what does it even take to get to that point of getting listed on a major exchange coming from decentralized? Like, what
That's
is?
a good question?
I'm assuming there's a million different steps, right? And then your
How many hoops?
your
How many hoops
system
do you have
has
to
to
go through?
mesh with theirs, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, both very good questions. So to answer the first one, community management. I mean, these projects are driven by community. Bottom line, we've gone through, you know, the bear market or the crypto winter of 2018 and 2019. It was very difficult for every project in the space, especially, you know, smaller ones like Divi that are more grassroots. The only thing that carried us through those moments was the community. We've built a really strong culture in our community. We don't have a lot of moon boys. We don't have a lot of those types of people because we've just kind of rooted them out, to be honest. If you come in with that attitude, you'll quickly be met with like,
that's
hey,
good.
this is like a real project. We're trying to do real shit here.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That was
Sorry,
good.
guys. Hey, you
We'll
didn't
edit
mention
that
anything specific.
No.
Yeah.
Good.
Uncorrelated, mutually
Mark it.
exclusive.
That's
things.
fine. That's good. Keep going.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that was
of
good.
course
That
you
was
still
good.
get those people. Yeah. As for getting
I have a new
the
question
attention
after
of
this.
the
But
big
keep going.
players,
Sorry. Go.
it's been difficult. You know, we've really had to fight and claw our way up the ladder, so to speak. However, we did just close a pretty major partnership with La Liga, which is the biggest soccer league on earth by reach.
Mhm.
That has attracted the big guys. They're like, I don't know how
Nice.
you did this, because they were also bidding on it, a lot of them. And they're like, well, now we just have to work with you because we have to keep our enemies close.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's we didn't intend on
wow,
that. That
that's
wasn't like
good.
why we did that partnership. It was more of a marketing thing, and it's been great. Our community is super ecstatic about it, as am I and the whole team. And, you know, we're on the pitch for 3.5 years, and we have a bunch of
Yeah.
activations and stuff. that put us in front of 1 billion plus people a season.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting sort of like ancillary benefit to that partnership, to where you did start having executives reaching out like, hey, came up on our news feed and so what's going on?
How could you do that? Yeah.
They're like, I submitted a request to you guys 2 years ago.
Yeah, we've been applying for years. And it's like I just took my glasses off and became beautiful to you, Oh, man.
Oh, nice. So my follow-up question is, so you kind of touched on it a bit, but what is the space like between other in the market, like the coins and the tokens and people, the other industries that you like? Is there a whole lot of really like, you're stupid or you're garbage or you're, like
animosity?
You're
Yes,
doing
yes,
nothing. Like, what do you feel
think
it's like? Yes, thank you. Do you think there's a lot of that, or do you think it's a whole like
that? I think there's like a
keep
vocal
going
minority of people that are maximalists for one thing or another. My chain is better than your chain thing. There's not many. There's not many of those people though. To be honest, like
yeah.
That's
another thing right there. That's another shirt.
I like that. We got some chains on it.
That's another shirt right
there.
Yeah, that's good. I'll buy that one.
I love that. We're gonna have to put you on the team. Yeah, I got you.
I know. Yeah, send me an email.
No, I mean,
Have your people.
I find that it's really collaborative. To be honest, it's very heavily relationship based. Everyone's had a story like you guys where we've been screwed once or twice because we either did something that we shouldn't have done, we jumped in without researching enough or whatever, or we did business with a person that we didn't really know. So I think that is what I find to be the most like significant part of the crypto culture. Is it's actually, as much as there's like anons and everything around, it's actually very heavily relationship based. People want to shake your hand and see your face and look you in the eye and know who you are, and then they're willing to collaborate on any level. I don't know how many calls I have with people where it ends with me or the other person both saying, hey, let me know what I can do for you. I'm here to help. Yeah.
Listen, I feel like crypto is leaning
So the
heavily
community's good for
towards
the most
that
part.
too. Like anywhere in the space. I mean, there are some jackasses here and there, right? But for the most part, like it's how can I help you? You help me, so on and so forth.
That's how it
You'd
should
hope.
be, right? I mean, you would hope, right? That's how you would hope most industries are. But what happens is the money gets in the way, right? And then you're Coinbase, and then you're swinging your chains left and right there, and you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but you know
Right.
what? You're always going to have those things, like you said, in every industry. But we all want the same thing, ultimately, right? And that's the mass adoption of this technology that we find to be the best solution to a bunch of problems that we literally all of us deal with, every country around the world. So I think that typically takes precedence over ego or chain swinging, as you said. Not always, but usually.
Yeah. And those are the ones you weed out, right? Or you hopefully weed out, or if you can, if they're not too big already.
Or they
right?
weed themselves out, or isolate themselves in some way. Yeah.
Yes, by the community, for sure.
All right. Well, winding down to the end of our hour, Scott, like I was saying offline, has some questions that we typically ask. So, Scott, if you want to start getting into that, I know we've been asking questions the entire
let's jump
time,
into it.
but these we try to get a little fun.
These are funny questions, even though I've been,
I'm ready.
we've been funny. I'll give you
Fire
some
away.
leeway there, Mark. So, since you're a CEO, what do you do to blow off steam?
I
You go,
definitely work out.
You go and
That's very helpful.
um,
There's another thing
yeah.
that I do to blow off steam that
What else do you do?
maybe we take offline on that one, but
Oh,
You can write that down.
you go do hate mail. to
the
other
typical
other
human
projects?
stuff that people do to blow off steam. I do enjoy the occasional video game.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Actually
What's your
lately
game
I've been
of choice?
playing Fortnite, believe it or not. I never played it before, but it's actually way more fun than I thought it was going to be, like very childish.
All right. And here,
But it's fun.
yeah,
But I'm a single player gamer.
But it's
I
fun.
like the last good one I played was Final Fantasy VII Remake. I loved that.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Have you played the interlude that's in between
Mark's-
the intermission?
Mark's a
they're
big
calling
I
it?
haven't had a
Fantasy
chance to pick it up yet. No, but it's on my list for sure. I've been running Resident Evil Village recently as well, which is super fun. I love survival horror games. So
nice.
Quick follow-up question on with Fortnite, right? So Fortnite, I feel my kids play it religiously, is very transaction based.
Heavily.
Your platform is also transaction based. How do you feel like that is going to blend into the video game ecosystem? Do you think that crypto will be a main part into?
That's coming out this month, Mark. He told us earlier.
It's
Don't-
tough because while the analog seems really obvious to us as crypto people, the V-Bucks are basically a cryptocurrency within the game that are stablecoin really. And, the transactions are very similar to like minting an NFT or something like that. The rejection of the gaming community to crypto and NFTs has been like pretty vehement.
Yeah, it's almost heartbreaking, isn't it?
I think gamers
Yeah,
got
that is
burned
weird.
with the pay to play stuff, the play to win stuff, or pay to win, I should say, freemium models and things like that that feel used. So the re-education is going to take a while to show people like, no, actually you aren't the product anymore. Like you can participate in the product and earn from that. That's going to take some doing. And I don't know that the big companies like Ubisoft and Epic are the ones to make that change. I think there has to be like a breakout. Because everybody says like, oh, as soon as Epic makes
you're right, Ubisoft. Sorry.
NFTs, it's going to change the game. But Ubisoft tried, right? They made
What?
NFTs.
I don't get that either. Like, this isn't crypto in general, right? I don't get why things pump when mainstream comes along. Like, crypto, we want to be decentralized, and I get adoption, right? We want mass adoption, but we're trying to get away from the man,
Save all the
right?
kids, I get it.
But every time he gets involved, things skyrocket. It baffles me in its entirety because it's completely against what crypto is.
Yeah, but it's validation, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
To those
I
people
get
that maybe are on the fence right now, seeing their hedge fund that they're already invested in offer a crypto product, that might make the difference for them to call their financial advisor and say, hey, instead of 3% a year, I'm ready to make 4%, and
It's funny you say that. We were on a guy's show recently who has a financial advisor, and we kind of made mention that we do what we do, right? Like we mine, and
Yep.
we're in the crypto, the field, right? The crypto space, and he talked to his advisor who was like, no, like don't even it's
fired
just not worth it.
immediately.
So it just shows you like the mindset of the stock market folks, like that are just closed off to it. Because I'm sure there are, there's obviously hybrid stock market brokers or whatever, right? Who are probably making tons of money because they're doing both, right? Because you can tell, like come Friday, it seems like the market goes up because they're no longer it goes down for the stocks or for the most part. Then they take their money, pull it out, and they play the crypto on the weekends. Because then they bring it back, and that's how it seems like it is, because it's like a weird little roller coaster of fun. And it's funny to hear that some people
Change is
are
hard.
so against
Change is hard, and not understanding something.
it is.
The
It is.
easiest reaction for a human being in any significant situation is denial. The very first thing that you do when your girlfriend breaks up with you, nope,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
fix this. This isn't happening.
Yep.
In some cases,
Yep.
in some other cases, you're like, oh, finally. But
Maybe I'm just at that age where I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
She did me a favor.
Yeah.
Bringing hints for,
But
I've been
you know
giving
what I
hints
mean,
for
right?
weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Right. No, I get it. So, jumping off the girlfriend scenario, since you're a CEO, would you ever have a prenuptial agreement? Hopefully, you're not married or gonna be married. Would you ever do it? Because you're a CEO, you're gonna be rolling. If you're not already rolling in, I'm sure you are. When you are, if you are, when you get married,
Just
if you
answer
were
the
married.
question.
I am asking the question. I'm giving so many outs because if he's not married yet
she's
and the
watching
chick's
this
on
right
the and she's in the
Like, oh,
she's ready to swing, right? She's on deck, right? She's on deck. That's what I mean.
Feel
So
free
if she's
to
on
plead
deck,
the fifth.
I'm giving outs.
No, I mean, I don't mind. I would tell anybody this. First, marriage is a difficult dichotomy in my mind. That really, it's really only. I mean,
Yeah,
they say
it is.
don't do it for financial reasons or whatever, but what other reason really is there in this day and age? But outside that, if you meet the right person and you love them, fine. Yes, I would definitely get a prenup. I mean, just
Yes. Nice.
look, I'm a developer,
Very
man.
smart. That's
I'm
definitely
a
that's a good
logical
CEO
person.
answer.
50% plus of these things end, and you just have to take the prudent road. I'm playing the odds.
You're playing the odds. I like it.
All the lovely ladies that were swooning.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're gone. It's fine. It's
Uh,
another year with no girlfriend. That's
They are.
what-
Sorry. Well, no. You know what? You're real ones now. You're gonna get the real ones. We just weeded out the real ones. So tell them to check this out. So get any chick that's gonna hang out
Yeah.
with you, send them the link, watch the episode, and they'll know you got to
I
be in
love it.
for it.
That's so funny.
All right. So the last question: have you ever had a roommate?
Wow.
If so, what did you hate about that person
I have had roommates.
or dislike?
Yeah. I mean, I've
I would
had
imagine we
several
all-
roommates.
What'd you say?
I think the worst thing is, of course, the common areas become a mess, like the kitchens and stuff like that. But the worst thing that ever happened, and it's really not even a big deal in retrospect, but this guy,
Nice.
he had a cat, and he would always leave the cat outside his locked room, and the cat would get mad, and the cat peed on my laptop bag.
Oh.
Now, you've smelled a cat's pee. It's horrendous. Like, it ruins whatever it touches.
Yeah.
He didn't even apologize. No offer to get me a
Mark's
new bat.
phone.
I could never forget that, man. It's stuck with me forever. That was the
Nice.
worst.
So roommates.
He's like, you don't have to pay rent. Just get rid of the cat.
Nice. What about you, Mark?
Or take care of the cat. Like, what?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Something with the cat.
Oh, did you? Okay, so no, let's go deep into that. Did you ever think like just to get rid of the cat without him knowing? Like he's at work, right?
No,
And then you get the
I
cat. You
love
just take
animals
the cat
too
down the
much.
street.
I
and
couldn't
see if
do
the
it,
cat
man.
makes it back.
I
'Cause
love
if he
the
makes
cat,
it back,
actually.
he wins.
I like the cat more than him.
He
I would have got
wins.
rid of him. Kept the cat.
What'd you do to
There's
it then?
nothing
Did you
I could
kick it?
do. I discovered it
Accidentally?
later.
You
and-
know, like messed
yeah,
up
it was
with
bad. It was bad. I had to throw it away. It was a nice laptop bag. Gone.
Yeah, that happens.
It was time to.
Yeah,
It was
that-
time
yeah,
to move to a
that sucks.
backpack anyway. Who's carrying a?
What about you, Mark?
What
You're-
am I doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's the next level. Mark, did you ever have a weird
my
roommate
last living situation when I had roommates, one guy decided that it would be a good idea to. He was the guy that was in charge of all the utilities. Like, hey, here's money, go pay the utilities. And then
Right.
you find out he doesn't
Yeah.
pay the utilities
thing? Yeah.
after you've given him cash. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cut
yeah, no, the
off?
water got cut off one time. Yeah, no, that
Uh,
is a pet peeve for sure. I
wow.
never had a roommate ever since that happened.
Yeah, mine was I had a guy who he was going through some tough times, so he started like I don't know, like he felt like he was getting like he started throwing up over the house, he was getting really beat up over the fact that he had big anxiety of being at the house with us. So like he hated his job, like it was like a
tough.
depression kind of thing.
Never
I
had a
knew I
roommate
didn't want
after
a
that.
roommate after that.
That's
After
tough.
All right.
That's tough. Mental health
I
is
know.
difficult, but yeah,
It
it's
is.
hard enough for
Yeah.
the person.
It is,
to
it is.
to have somebody else involved. Even more difficult, right?
He needed a cat.
He needed a cat.
Definitely.
Should have called me, man.
Oh, I should have. Next time the cat does that, bring it. Let me know, and I'll bring him
Well,
the
Nick,
cat.
I greatly appreciate that
It's a
you
win-win.
came on the show. I'm glad that we were able to make this work. And if you could just tell us, where we can find you. If there's anything you have coming up that you want to drop that's supposedly coming this month, whatever.
Shut up, Mark.
But in reality,
He's gonna come back on for that.
If you could just let us know where we can find you.
Absolutely. Yeah, DiviWallet.com for the wallet stuff, DiviProject.org if you want to learn more about the ecosystem at large, the community, and things like that. And then all our social medias are just at Divi Project. So, come join the community, ask questions, and hopefully I didn't piss anyone off too much with my commentary.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I'm about to go on there.
Yeah, and definitely keep your eyes on the project for the next couple of months. There's some really cool stuff coming.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Amigos out.
This has been the Amigos PC. Make sure to like, subscribe, and review us on all your podcasting platforms. And visit us at AmigosPC.net. Get our entire library of content and Amigos merch. Till next time, adios.